Let me tell y'all something. Respect ain't about walking in the room loud. It ain't about flexing what you got. And it sure ain't about trying to prove you better than somebody else. Respect, it's a silent power. It's when folks look at you and say, man, I don't know what it is about them, but I can't help but pay attention. Now, see, psychology got some secrets behind that. 5 of them, and if you understand these 5, you don't got to chase nobody's approval. You don't got to beg for folks to treat you right. Respect just comes your way naturally. It's the way you carry yourself. It's the way you stand tall even when life trying to bend you. It's the way you talk less and listen more. Because when you listen deep, people feel valued. It's the boundaries you set, because let me tell you, people admire folks who got the guts to say, nah, that don't work for me. And most of all, it's about being real. Because when you show up with your flaws and your strengths, people respect you more than any mask you could ever wear. So today, we're going to break down these 5 secrets that'll have folks looking at you different, treating you different, and respecting you without you ever having to demand it. You know, one of the biggest mistakes people make in life is thinking respect comes with a title, or it comes with money, or it comes with being the loudest voice in the room. That's where folks go wrong. Respect don't work like that. You can have all the money in the world, all the status, all the followers online, but if you don't carry yourself right, people might envy you, people might watch you, but deep down, they don't respect you. And respect is deeper than attention. Respect is when folks talk about you in the rooms you're not in, and they say your name with weight. Respect is when your presence alone makes people sit up straighter. And that presence, that's earned, not demanded. See, when I say respect is earned through presence and behavior, I'm not talking about being perfect. I'm talking about the way you show up in everyday situations. It's the way you handle yourself when things go wrong. Anybody can look strong when everything's going their way, but it's when the storm comes, when the pressure's on, that's when people watch you the closest. You lose your cool every time something don't go your way. People stop respecting you. You panic, you lash out, you blame everybody else. People stop listening. But when you keep your head up, when you breathe through the storm, when you deal with it instead of breaking down over it, that's when folks quietly say to themselves, now that's somebody I can follow, that's somebody I can trust. I've learned that respect has more to do with consistency than anything else. People respect what they can depend on. You ever notice that? If your words and actions don't line up, folks don't know what to expect from you. And eventually, they stop putting their trust in you. But when you carry yourself with consistency, when what you say and what you do match, people begin to see you as solid. You become that person they know won't fold under pressure. The one they know won't say one thing to their face and another behind their back. That's presence. That's behavior. And that's how respect gets built brick by brick. Another thing folks don't always understand is that respect don't come from being the center of attention. Some of the most respected people in the world ain't the loudest ones in the room. They don't got to tell you how important they are. They don't got to brag about what they've done. Their presence speaks before their mouth does. You ever been around someone like that? They walk in and they don't say much, but the way they carry themselves, the way they look people in the eye, the calm in their tone, you can't help but feel they got something powerful about them. That's the kind of presence I'm talking about. And it comes from an inner confidence, not arrogance. It comes from knowing who you are, what you stand for, and refusing to let the world shake that. Now let me make this plain. You can't demand respect and expect it to last. You can intimidate people into silence. You can scare folks into pretending to respect you. But the minute you're gone, the truth comes out. That's not real respect. Real respect sticks around when you're not in the room. Real respect shows up in the way people protect your name when you can't defend it. And the only way you get that is by earning it through the way you live, the way you treat people, and the standards you hold yourself to. It's also about how you treat folks who can't give you nothing. That right there is one of the biggest tests of character. Anybody can be polite to the boss Anybody can smile at somebody who got money or influence. But people are watching how you treat the waiter, how you talk to the security guard, how you act around somebody who has no power over you. That's when your true colors show. And believe me, when people see you treating everybody with respect, not just the ones who can benefit you, your own respect level goes up. Folks say, now that's real, that's genuine. And genuine earns respect every time. See, your behavior is like a mirror. It reflects what's really inside you. You can try to fake it for a little while, but eventually the truth always comes out. If you're the kind of person who lies, cheats, disrespects people, or cuts corners, it may look like you're winning short term, but long term, nobody respects that. On the flip side, when you carry yourself with honesty, when you stand by your word, when you give people your best even if nobody's clapping for you, that's when the respect builds. It doesn't always come fast, but it always lasts longer. Presence and behavior, they walk hand in hand. You can't just show up with a suit and a nice car and expect folks to bow down. People are smarter than that. They're watching how you act, they're noticing the little things, and those little things add up. The way you shake someone's hand, the way you listen without cutting them off, the way you stand tall without looking down on anybody, those are the behaviors that build respect without you ever asking for it. And when your presence carries that energy, people feel it before you even open your mouth. So don't chase respect like it's something you can force out of people. Live in a way that earns it. Carry yourself in a way that commands it. Because respect, real respect, it don't come from demanding. It comes from being the kind of person people can't help but respect. You ever notice how some people can walk into a room, not say a single word yet, and everybody turns their head? That's confidence. And here's the truth. People respond to confidence way faster than they respond to anything you say. You could talk all day, you could use big words, fancy speeches, but if you don't carry confidence in your body, in your tone, in your energy, your words just float away. People don't remember what you said, they remember how you made them feel. And confidence is what makes people feel that weight, that presence, that belief that you are somebody worth paying attention to. See, confidence ain't about being arrogant. Let's get that straight. Confidence is quiet. Arrogance is loud. Confidence doesn't need to announce itself. Confidence says, I know who I am, I know what I stand for, and I don't need you to validate me. And the funny thing is, when you live like that, when you carry yourself like that, people give you the validation anyway. They lean in when you talk. They trust what you say, even if you say it plain and simple. You don't got to oversell yourself. You don't got to beg people to believe you. That's why confidence is stronger than words, because words without confidence are empty. But confidence with even the simplest words can move mountains. Think about it. You've probably seen somebody giving a presentation, stumbling through their points, looking down, speaking real soft like they hoping nobody notices them. They might have the smartest ideas in the world, but nobody's hearing it because the delivery lacks confidence. Now flip that. You've probably seen somebody else stand up with half the facts, but they delivered it with energy, with certainty, with eye contact. And you know what? People believed them. Not because the words were stronger, but because the confidence was. That's how much power it carries. And let me tell you this, it's not about being the loudest person in the room. A lot of folks confuse volume with confidence. That's not it. Real confidence can be soft-spoken. Real confidence doesn't need to shout. It's the calmness in your voice, the steady way you look somebody in the eye, the patience you carry when you talk. That's the kind of confidence that makes people think, this person knows what they're doing. This person is solid. And once they feel that your words finally start landing, confidence is also contagious. When you walk into a situation believing in yourself, that energy rubs off on people. They start believing too. It's like electricity. When you're unsure of yourself, when you doubt yourself, people pick up on that energy just as fast. They don't even need to hear you say it. They feel it. So if you want folks to respect you, to follow you, to listen to you, you got to build that inner belief first. People respond to it because deep down, everybody wants something solid to lean on, something steady to hold on to. If you're shaky, they can't hold on to you. If you're firm, they trust you. Now let me be real with you. Confidence doesn't mean you won't mess up. Confidence doesn't mean you got all the answers. Confidence means you trust yourself enough to figure it out as you go. That's the difference. The person who says, I might not know everything right now, but I know I'll handle it. That's confidence. And people love that. People respect that. Because it's real. We all make mistakes, but if you carry yourself with that steady belief, people won't hold those mistakes against you the same way. They'll actually give you more grace because they see the way you bounce back, the way you keep moving without losing yourself. Another thing about confidence, it shows up in the little things before it shows up in the big things. The way you walk into a room, the way you sit at the table, the way you shake somebody's hand, the way you hold your head up, that's confidence. You don't got to announce, I'm confident. People can see it in how you move. And because they can see it, they respond to it. They treat you like somebody who deserves to be heard. That's respect right there, built without even opening your mouth yet. But here's where a lot of folks get stuck. They think confidence means you're never nervous, never unsure. That's not true. Every confident person you've ever seen has had doubts, has felt that little voice inside saying, what if I mess up? The difference is they didn't let that voice control them. Confidence is not the absence of fear. It's moving forward even with the fear. And when people see you doing that, they respect it because deep down they know they felt the same fear. They admire the fact that you kept moving anyway. That's power. Confidence is like a magnet. It draws opportunities. It draws people. It draws respect, not because you begged for it, but because people naturally follow strength. And the strength ain't in the words. It's in the energy behind them. A person who says, I can, with full belief will always outshine the person who says, I think maybe, with doubt. That's why when you walk into situations, you got to remind yourself that the way you carry yourself is speaking before your words ever do. So if you want people to respond to you, if you want people to respect you, don't just focus on what to say. Focus on how you say it. Focus on the belief behind it. Because at the end of the day, words come and go, but confidence, that sticks. People don't remember the script, they remember the feeling you gave them. And when that feeling is strong, steady, and sure, they'll respond to you every single time. You know, a lot of people think respect comes from being the smartest in the room, from having the slickest words, from always having something to say. But let me tell you something I've learned. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is keep your mouth shut and just listen. That's where real respect begins. People don't remember every word you say, but they will always remember how you made them feel. And when someone feels heard, when they feel like you actually care about what they're saying, that builds a kind of respect words alone can't buy. See, listening is deeper than just being quiet while the other person talks. Anybody can stay silent and nod their head. Real listening is when you give somebody your attention in a way that makes them feel like they matter. It's when you put down the phone, stop thinking about your reply, stop trying to one-up their story, and actually lean in. You'd be amazed at how people open up when they realize you're not just hearing them, you're listening to them. And that kind of connection, that kind of presence, it makes people see you differently. They respect you, not because you had the perfect response, but because you gave them something rare in this world, your full attention. Think about it. Most folks spend conversations waiting for their turn to talk. They're not even listening, they're just planning their comeback. And you can feel that, can't you? You can feel when somebody's not really with you. It's like talking to a wall. But then think about the times you had someone look you in the eye, nod with understanding, ask you a thoughtful question instead of rushing to give their own story. That feels different. That makes you feel valued. And when people feel valued, they automatically start valuing you. Respect is a two-way street, and listening is how you open it up. Listening also gives you knowledge that talking never will. When you're the one always talking, you only hear what you already know. But when you stop and listen, that's when you learn. That's when you catch the details. the emotions, the little clues that tell you what's really going on. And when you act on that knowledge, people notice. They say, wait a minute, this person actually heard me. That's respect right there. You didn't just talk, you understood. And understanding carries more weight than any speech you could give. Now here's the part that most people miss. Listening doesn't make you weak. Some folks think if they're not dominating the conversation, they're losing power. But it's actually the opposite. The strongest people in the room are often the ones who talk the least and listen the most. Why? Because when they finally do speak, everybody listens. Why does everybody listen? Because they know this person wasn't just waiting to talk. They were actually absorbing everything. And that gives their words more weight. Listening is what makes your voice stronger when it's finally your turn to use it. And I'll tell you something else. Listening is how you build trust. If people don't feel like you hear them, they won't open up to you, and without openness, there's no respect. But when you prove time and time again that you're willing to sit with somebody, hear their story, and not judge them, that's when the walls come down. That's when relationships get stronger. That's when folks start saying, you know what? I respect them because they don't just talk at me, they connect with me. And connection is the real foundation of respect. It doesn't even have to be in big, dramatic conversations. Sometimes it's the small stuff. A co-worker shares an idea, and instead of brushing it off or jumping in with your own, you say, tell me more about that. A family member comes to you upset, and instead of trying to fix it right away, you let them talk it out. Those little moments mean everything. They show people you see them, you value them, you respect them. And in return, they respect you more. I've also noticed that people who listen well are remembered differently. When folks talk about them, it's not just, oh, they're smart or they're funny. It's that person really cares. That person makes you feel important. And you can't buy that reputation. You can only earn it through the way you show up when others are speaking. Listening is a gift, and when you give it freely, it always comes back to you in the form of respect. Now, let's be real, it's not easy. Listening takes patience. Listening means putting your ego aside. Listening means resisting the urge to prove yourself in every conversation. But if you can master that, if you can discipline yourself to truly listen, you'll find out people respond to you in a whole different way. They start seeking your presence, not because you always have the answer, but because being around you makes them feel seen. And when people feel seen, they'll respect you even before they agree with you. So the way you listen, the attention you give, the way you make somebody feel like their voice matters, those things carry more power than all the talking you could ever do. Words fade, but the feeling of being heard stays with people forever. And if you want to be respected, that's the kind of impact you want to leave. You know, one of the biggest myths people carry around is this idea, if you say no, if you set boundaries, if you draw a line in the sand, people are going to dislike you for it. We've been trained to believe that to be respected. We got to be available to everybody, say yes to everything, and stretch ourselves thin just to keep folks happy. But let me tell you something I had to learn the hard way. People don't lose respect for you when you set boundaries. They admire you for it. Boundaries don't push the right people away. They actually pull the right kind of respect toward you. Think about it. Every person you've ever respected in your life in some way had boundaries. They had a code. They had lines they didn't let people cross. And that's what made you respect them. If somebody always says yes, always bends, always gives in, you don't admire that, you take it for granted. That's just the truth. Human nature is funny that way. We value what has limits. We respect the person who has standards, who stands firm, who knows their worth. So boundaries aren't about being selfish. They're about teaching people how to treat you. See, when you don't set boundaries, you send out this message without even realizing it. I'll accept anything. And once people realize that, they start giving you anything. They show up late. They talk to you any kind of way. They pile responsibilities on you that ain't even yours to carry because they know you won't push back. And at first, you might think that's keeping the peace, but all it's really doing is draining you dry. And here's the kicker. People don't even respect you more for it. They actually respect you less. Because if you don't value your own time, your own energy, your own space, why would they? But the moment you start drawing those lines, the whole dynamic shifts. When you say, I can't do that today, or that doesn't work for me, or I won't let you speak to me that way. You might think people will get upset. And yes, I might, but pay attention to who gets upset when you set boundaries. It's usually the ones who were benefiting from you not having any. The ones who truly respect you, they'll nod their head and say, I get it. They might even admire you for standing up for yourself, because deep down they wish they had the courage to do the same in their own lives. Boundaries also show confidence. When you set a boundary, you're saying, I know my value, I know my limits.